Thanos, the Mad Titan, seeks the Infinity Stones so that he may balance the universe by wiping out half its population. On many battlegrounds, the Avengers put forth everything to stop him. I usually keep these spoiler-free, and I strive to do that here, but even discussing general aspects about a movie this important feels like I'm giving away big secrets, so be forewarned. The good. This movie spends a lot of time exploring Thanos, his way of thinking, and his apocalyptic goals. We've gotten short appearances and brief mentions of Thanos in previous Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, but there are those who may still not fully grasp the reality of who he is. As such, it was a good idea to make him the primary focus of this movie. As per usual, be it technological tools or unique abilities, this movie makes really good use of its characters during the action sequences. One in particular shows a very high level of frantic and brutal desperation that I haven't seen for so long that it really helps to sell that Thanos is the ultimate threat in the universe. Avengers movies are where heroes from all corners get to meet each other, and there's a very pure joy to be felt from seeing these team-ups, especially when it comes to pairings that, at least off the top of your head, you might not necessarily have expected to see together. The iffy. Infinity War is now preceded by a Marvel universe composed of 18 films. This film is intended to be viewed and is much more fulfilling with that buildup. If you're a newbie or you've fallen behind on the MCU movies, I know that sounds like a lot of homework. In my own humble opinion, I will simply say that I think it's worth it. With a decade's worth of characters spread over many battlegrounds, this movie jumps around a lot. Given the circumstances, I think they handled it in the best way they possibly could have. They have multiple smaller groups instead of one ginormous one, and the character placement, generally everybody is where it makes the most sense for them to be. That being the case, you probably won't see as much of your favorite Avenger as you'd like, and emotionally speaking, most of the characters just get very basic coverage and not much of an arc. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has always been pretty good about balancing seriousness and fun. They're helped a lot by their brand of clever and amusing quips, and this movie follows that example. And while I do love my smart-ass hero-to-hero quips, I've said this before. Pulling back on them would help to more effectively convey the seriousness of certain stories, and in the case of this story, I think they could have pulled back a little more. A lot of fans are probably aware that Marvel Studios has more movies planned for the future. What those movies are may affect how you perceive this movie and how seriously you take it. For optimal enjoyment, I suggest that you try to push that mindset aside, pull yourself just a little bit out of your own head, and go along with the ride. The bad. There are moments in this movie that could have been resolved very simply, but then a character's emotions lead them to make the wrong choice in that scenario. Now you might say, they're only human. Not all of them are human, but you get the idea. They're beings that can be influenced by their emotions. And narratively, that's a very easy out when justifying irrational choices by a character. Emotion isn't always rational. But it can be frustrating to watch these moments when all of the characters are very aware of the fact that the universe is at stake. The verdict? Avengers Infinity War is a movie that brings all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe together. This individual film may have some spotty elements, but that did very little to dent the euphoria of this experience. Call me simple if you must, but the sheer act of seeing it all come together like this was really satisfying. This is Detective Steve, and I hope this review was sufficient enough in explaining my feelings on this movie, because there was a lot to process.